taxpaying citizen. I'm no one's child. I do not want anybody to admonish me anymore because all it means is that you've abandoned answering what we put forth as questions to the council. You can talk about me all you want on your private time. I have very thick skin. But when you stand in a council meeting and it's time for you to rebut us and you never answer any question, it's a matter of record that over the years, the council members who chose to do that never answered what we asked of them to please do something for us. The council president, Mr. Griffin, just told us about our behavior and how we must take our hats off to present a courtesy. But the courtesy has to be also presented to us that when we question not your personal selves, but what's going on in Mount Vernon, you spend 25 minutes admonishing us. To me, that means you skip past answering what we came here to get questions on. The problems that affect us in Mount Vernon. This is the new year. We have to stop this process. I want to be respected as a taxpayer because one thing I have not done is abandon paying my taxes. I constantly come in, we drop that check in, and we run into the same problems that, quite honestly, I've been talking about for 30 years. They're still in place. We need to get some type of results done where we could be happy with each other. But one thing I am not is somebody's child. Please don't admonish me anymore when I present my cases to you because you asked for us to participate in we the people. We are the people. We are the republic. We have everybody because as Socrates did in the republic, as the Romans did with Caesar, you have a council where the people can exchange ideas, grievances, and admonishments. No one is taking you on personally. We simply find that you are the body of the republic that needs to answer to us.
Mr. Evers, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thomas Keller.
First, I'd like to say that I hope in the future of ceremonies in the city council that they recognize that there's just not the Democratic City Committee chairs in the city. There's a Republican chair and an Independence Party chair. If we want to represent everybody equally, every chair should be invited at that ceremony. So I just wanted to make that clear. Now, I think that there's a problem, and the problem is coming out of those who right now are representing the mayor's office when dealing with what they call, I guess, retaliation. Just recently, someone brought up my wife's issue of being out on 207C and her opening up a cupcake shop. Now, when questioned the person that brought the inquiry at the commissioner's meeting, she confessed that Roberta James was the one that put her up to asking the question. Now, what is this all about? What is this all about is another man that's in the mayor's office, Joseph Spezio, has told many people at different arenas throughout here that if he can't get to me, he will get to my wife. I take this very seriously when dealing with my family. If they can't handle what I say, then they shouldn't respond or be quiet. But do not come after my family. Now, here's the conversation for the city council so you can see. Now since that we're talking about 207C, if there's any investigation against my wife outside of the Mount Vernon policies and procedures, I will take it as an act of aggression by the city towards me. Now let's understand, the Mount Vernon PD do not have any 207C policies. Here's the collective bargaining agreement between the union and the city of Mount Vernon. I talked to the police officers over there. Now we already know 207C is a problem. But you cannot hold any officer accountable if you don't have proper policies to govern what it is. Now my wife has done everything that she has been asked for by the police department for her workman's comp issue. All right, she's just waiting for surgery. But also, when false accusations is being made, and then we find out those that are in the mayor's office are putting people up to it, there's a problem. And I think the city council, y'all here, y'all are the checks and balances. So y'all need to check somebody, or your balances will be diminished from a lawsuit. And I'm serious, I'm not playing. I'm not playing at all. They crossed the line.
Good evening, President, Council President, good evening, Council, good evening, everyone. My name is Larry Fair, I live at 630 Remington Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. And first I would like to welcome Lisa back again, Lisa Copeland, Councilwoman Copeland, back to City Council again. Also I'd like to welcome Councilman Andre Wallace. Thank you, and the rest of the council. You guys are already familiar with myself. Tonight I'm representing as founder and CEO of the Future Society Incorporated. And usually I give you an update as to how the Future Society is being part of the solution. I'd like to be able to attend this council meeting more often, but I said if I'm not here, we're being part of the solution outside. As I said, usually every year everyone knows that we usually have a Golden Globe Award in which we acknowledge people that are doing positive things for our youth and for the community. Not because they need another certificate or another award, but because the negative news makes the news without any effort whatsoever. And so we need to highlight those people that are doing good things, not because of salary, but because they care about the community and the youth. Our organization will always be about the youth, no politics. Yes, we understand we need the politicians to be able to sponsor and be able to get funding for the children, but that's not what it's all about. What is the Future Society Incorporated? For those of you that don't know what we're about, we're a nonprofit 501c3 organization, AAA mentoring through activity, action, and association, specializing in youth leadership development. In light of all this new development that's coming into Mount Vernon, I'm always for development, but none of the development that I've seen so far addresses the youth. No matter how much development you put into Mount Vernon, if you don't have anything for the youth, things are not going to work out too well. So I like people to, you guys are using the front line for the people that are coming in here. Always suggest Future Society wants to be part of some entity that can be part of the children, to have something for the children to go on forward. So I look forward to having a conversation with you guys. So far, for the 8 years since I stood before this council, partnering with the city of Mount Vernon to do things positive for the youth. With games and activities that are mentoring activities where we teach and enhance social skills, and we teach them how to be team players, and also we have new partners that we have and sponsors. Warburg being one, we have the Mount Vernon Fire Department, who sponsors this fishing trip for 5 years in a row with us right now for children to go on fishing trips. We've had such a high interest in going fishing. We raised funds between Recreation Department, myself, and other sponsors, and we had 4 additional fishing trips this year, totaling about 300 children going out fishing this year. And it's not just about fishing, it's about them having to see that there's options, that there are people out here that can show them that there's other things outside of the block. And I know I'm talking a little bit past the time, but I just want to touch on certain things. If we do not lead as positive leaders in Mount Vernon for the children of today, then who will? We have a lot of parents today that didn't even learn on their own, the children having children. So if they didn't learn, they can't teach. So we need to be positive leaders, and going forward, I'm willing to work with anybody that's positive, join any positive organization, and making sure that we have a positive impact on our children in Mount Vernon. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year to the community and to our council persons and new council persons and veteran council persons. Welcome to service of Mount Vernon as you've been elected. I appreciate all the work that you do, and I'd like to come tonight to, oh, I'm sorry, my name is Jeff Monroe, and I live at 420 South 9th Avenue. But I'd like to bring a conversation forward that is actually one that's had some history to it. I know it's been addressed by several community members. I know Mr. Jones, Damon Jones, has addressed it in the past. Cursory Google of the issue, that being the city charter allowed civilian complaint review board, has been addressed, and a cursory Google will bring back a September 21st, 2012 story by Lopa that addressed this, and then council member Karen Watts and current, but at the time established council member Yana Edwards, and even our current mayor, who was then council member Richard Thomas, had each advocated for the Civilian Complaint Review Board as being a positive element of governance and community representation in the city. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any other address and no other action, and certainly a Civilian Complaint Review Board does not exist now. So I'd like to inquire as to why that is. I don't remember any vote taken or opposition stated toward it. I'd like to know each council member's position on it, and I think it's above and beyond time in 2016, considering our national, social, and law enforcement relationship with our communities, that it should be reinforced that the community's voice in their policing should certainly be foremost in what we want to consider crime fight, and the Civilian Complaints Review Board is, I think, the first line of accountability when it comes to how our community is enforced with respect to law. So thank you very much, and good night.
I was before this council in April of 2015. I don't recall exactly what the date was, but it was the same night that Councilman Wallace presented his case before the council. I'd like to congratulate Ms. Copeland and Mr. Wallace for their new positions. Since April, this was the issue dealing with the CBA between the City of Mount Vernon and the Mount Vernon Police Benevolent Association, where there are 8 retirees that are due for monies owed to them by the City of Mount Vernon. I came to that meeting and it was conveyed to me that the council would look into it. President Griffin, you assured me that you would look into it and get back to me. It's been 9 months and I have not gotten a response yet. Okay? I spoke to former Mayor Ernie Davis today. I asked him why wouldn't the city honor the contract with the Mount Vernon Police Department? Quote, end quote. I conferred with the law department, no one could give me a definitive answer. I spoke to former Commissioner Terrence Raynor, who said no, Terrence Raynor is not an attorney. Again, I came before this council, and today, it's been 9 months, I still haven't gotten a response. So I would like to know, has an investigation been done? Has it been researched? What is the case? Because I have 8 other retirees. Me personally, come the 23rd of this month, it would be exactly 1 year. I've given this council ample opportunity to confer with the law department, confer with outside counsel, to see that this case, the city is liable to pay those retirees. Nothing as of today's date. Did the council think I was just blowing smoke? Now, I try to meet with current Mayor Thomas. He's busy, busy, busy. There's an open house next Thursday whereby I want to speak to him. I want to know what his stand is on this matter, because he was a city councilman at that time sitting right over there. Is this again, is everybody blowing smoke up our buttons? Okay? I conferred with the union attorneys. They are waiting on my call to initiate proceedings against the City of Mount Vernon. So therefore, the clock stops next Thursday. I haven't gotten anything from the City Council. I tried to resolve this matter amicably without throwing any dirt on the city. That's not what our intentions are. You've got 8 officers that put in over 20+ years each, served their time in the city, put their lives on the lines on a daily basis, and now the city does not want to compensate those officers according to the CBA. So, I'm going to ask you a question, President Griffin. Has this been investigated? Has it been researched in April 9th of 2013?
So at this time, we're not going to respond. We will respond after.
It's going to be another 9 months? Councilman Wallace was president. You told me in April you would investigate this, so forth and so on. I haven't heard from you since. The only time I heard from you is when I blasted you on Facebook, and you sent me an inbox message to call you. That's the only correspondence we've had outside this council.
So Mr. Moore, I'm going to respond to you in the public regarding.
I can appreciate that, but again, come next Thursday at 4 o'clock. I'm doing what I have to do on behalf of my fellow retirees and myself. Let the chips fall where they may.
I'm a native Mount Vernonite, NYU grad student, Air Force veteran, and stay-at-home mom of 2. And tonight I'd like to address issues with the Mount Vernon Recreation Department. The first issue is the false advertising by key lieutenants and subsequently by Commissioner Morton. There was an article written in the Mount Vernon Enquirer by Joe Parisi about the contract with key lieutenants, where they promised to provide free lessons to our children Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. That has since been replaced with not lessons, but just free tennis Saturday and Sunday morning from 6 to 8 a.m., which is ridiculous. Nobody's kid is going to get up to go to play tennis without any instruction at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So I would like the council to address why that was changed and why the change wasn't as publicized as a rebuttal to Joe Parisi's original article. Next, I would like to discuss Mount Vernon's Recreation Department's relationship with Pelham. And in my opinion, from visiting the Ice Hut, Cooperstown, and the new tennis courts, that is Pelham residents that get the most out of it. We are forced to be outsiders in our own city, and our children feel less than when they are kicked off the ice during the 1-hour free skate, only to watch Pelham children ushered onto the ice to practice hockey, figure skating, and now tennis. Do they pay more for the use of our facilities? Yes, if you count $10 more. Worse even is the fact that we are not welcomed in their communities to use their facilities. My husband and I have been turned away from Glover Field on 3 separate occasions, being told that there is a game on, as if it were improbable, but that because we're black, we were going to attend that game. The city has been over backwards to prove to another city that we're good enough when they want nothing to do with us but to use all of the facilities that the Recreation Department has allowed to be priced out of the reach of most residents. I would also like to address the incompetence within the Department of Recreation run athletics. My experience with the Recreation Department during the 2015 T-ball season included being told the wrong day to meet, being given the wrong uniform and the wrong size uniform, ultimately resulting in an incomplete uniform, missing socks and belts for my 6-year-old daughter. Opening day was rescheduled with no notice. We waited in the cold and mist for 2.5 hours for the former mayor to show up with no apology. Games were scheduled, canceled, and rescheduled with no notice, and 2 coaches that quit without a replacement. So not even in the middle of the season, no coach, no equipment, no practices, no scorekeeping, no rules, no training, no nothing. Add to that an unprofessional attitude and responses from the coordinator, and a final game played in the rain, awaiting trophies that never came, going home soaked. I discussed all of these things with the recreation staff and personally with Commissioner Morton and was told to write a letter. I'm disgusted at the apathetic response to a frustrated and angry parent/customer, because I paid for it, and the requirement to write a letter to affirm something that we all knew happened. I was told my daughter could attend a softball clinic in October 2015 as repayment, which would not have come close and for which I was never contacted anyway. This lack of commitment and respect for our children is a roadblock in any type of revitalization of Mount Vernon as a producer of talent. I have absolutely no faith in any Department of Recreation run athletics as a result. How can we boast homegrown talent when top performers that reside in the city go elsewhere to train or become educated due to the unprofessionalism of this city department? There's also a lack of advertising. There are events that have been held throughout the city featured on the Enquirer or in News 12 that I've been completely unaware of despite reading Westchester Parent and Westchester Family magazines and following several event websites and Facebook pages. The city does not advertise or promote what is going on through these available outlets and does not seem to use social media at all, unlike every other municipality in Westchester, doing a huge disservice to the residents. Even when they do advertise events are listed with no dates, like the tree lighting ceremony. Next, I'd like to address the inappropriate recreation and talent that does occur. I live adjacent to Bush Park, and there's no city oversight at the events that are held here. Last year, I had to leave my home during the motorbike rally due to the amount of profanity and the word nigger being repeated over and over loud enough to be heard literally 3 blocks away when I got to my grandmother's house. And if you're uncomfortable hearing it, imagine how uncomfortable I was with my 6-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son. When I got home, pictures were literally shaken off the wall from the vibrations of the loud music. The city seems to authorize the use of parks and facilities and would then wash their hands of any responsibility to the surrounding neighbors. There's a lack of quality recreation and festivals within the city, and those that are held are generally poorly coordinated and inappropriate. When I have supported events held in Mount Vernon, like Arts on Third and the Carnival across from Chicken Hut, I found them to be chaotic, poorly planned, and inappropriate for my children, with uncensored rap music, profanity, and performances of Sheila Twerkaholic by the artists during Arts on Third.
Mrs. Reed, do you have all of this written?
Yes, and I'm almost done. In closing, in Mrs. Thomas' inaugural speech, she mentioned that we shouldn't have to go outside our city for arts and recreation, but that is exactly what we are forced to do. If I'm mistaken by the amount of services that are available, it only speaks to my accuracy about the lack of advertising. While every other city is on the move, Mount Vernon has remained stagnant for years. Selling our location to commuters will only serve to outprice the people that have been born and raised here, as has happened in Brooklyn and now the Bronx. We don't need an influx of new people. We do not need an influx of new people. We need respect for the people that live here and support of code enforcement and affordable, appropriate, and professional recreation programs. I'm not sure what you consider recreation, but here's a list of what we don't have. A movie theater, a swimming pool that can actually be used for swimming, a YMCA, a bowling alley, any chain dining restaurant that's not fast food, a shopping mall, a shopping district, the avenue does not count, a park that is open year-round, a track, a hotel, a motel, an inn, an accurate Facebook page, an accurate city web pages, because of right now, Councilman Wallace and Councilwoman Copeland are not even on the city's web page. Mount Vernon needs to do what we can with what we've got or make do. It makes no sense that in a city that's adjacent to the most famous city in the world, we are operating with the most backwards technologies, if using technology at all. Thank you.
Chambers, thank you, sir. Thank you.
That's going to be hard to follow right there. God bless everyone. My name is Larry from 156 Union Avenue, Mount Vernon, lifelong resident. I don't got much to say, but I just got a few questions for the council. I'd just like to know, and like the council here to hear, my people behind us here, we would like to know how many deputy mayors do we have in the city of Mount Vernon? How many council members are over one department? And if we do have more than one council over more than one department, is it in the charter? And how are y'all protecting the charter from being legally changed? That's my question to the council. This is my very first time speaking to all of y'all, and it's not going to be my last time, because the simple fact is there's a lot of questions us Mount Vernonites want. And just by trying to get directly to the questions, I might get a direct answer to move on. Thank you.
I feel that City Hall has become raggedy. I was so angry about hearing about the firing of Crystal Collins and also Tom Terry. So I came in to see the mayor face to face. So I asked the guy outside the door, can I see the mayor? I would like to see the mayor. He said, who, Mayor Spezio or Secretary Collins? He was right. I was so angry. I was like, okay, I'm going to do that too. But Tom Terry had a 6-year contract. The other young lady, Crystal Collins, she does not work for the city. My concern is, with all this going on, if it's illegal, and they bring lawsuits, it's going to cost us taxpayers a whole lot of money, because they're going to win their lawsuits. That's my concern. And another concern I have is all this illegal activity going on. You got the fire department, but Thomas praised the fire department. You got illegal cars, you got illegal guns, you got illegal drugs, and all this is in the fire department. It's your brother, and you do not know. You gonna tell the news that? You can tell the news that crap, but you can't tell us that. We know you know. So my whole thing is, with all this going on, and he called himself resigning. Did he resign because he want to keep his pension and all the great benefits? We don't want that. We ain't paying for that. All the guns that done came in here, they done killed all these innocent young men and stuff here. No, this is wrong. Yeah, I want the fire department investigated on all these 27 workers out on comp, but they not really hurt. They got the backyard party doing the name. Carrying water, but they claim they can't carry 3 to 5 pounds, and they can't come to work. That is BS. I feel Ernie Richardson orchestrated all that, and I feel it's fraud. And I want all of it investigated. Got me, Andre? Got me, Lisa? Congratulations on coming in, but something really needs to happen about this. This is the beginning, and Mount Vernon is looking real bad. So what do we do? We want Mount Vernon to go forward positive, but I'm not about to stand up with no crooked mayor. And I'm not standing up to that. I'd rather him out of here. Talk to somebody else. Thank you.
My name is Larry Spencer, 529 South 2nd Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. We here numbers of times about the same issue. We're having a lot of problems with this someone in Mount Vernon. You got new people coming in here, harassing the people, getting inside information, and we've been over here 2 or 3 times about it, and nothing still don't seem to be done about it. We want to know how can new people come in. Number one, the town is too small for everybody that want to come in to come in. And that's what's creating the problem, because it's only 5 or 6 blocks. And you got new people coming in every day, so it's creating a big problem. And it's too much favoritism going on with the city. So we keep asking for investigation, and we're not getting them. So something needs to be done. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council members. My name is Sammy Watts, 50 School Street, Yonkers, New York. I own a towing company in Yonkers, and I do a lot of work here in Mount Vernon. As Larry was saying, that new people coming in here, and they don't seem to want to follow the law. I have to follow the law. That's why I don't have problems. And I would like for the city council to look into it. If they need any information, any guidelines, I know of a lot of cases that I can bring you and give you a head start on it. Because if this guy don't want to follow the law, he has no business here doing business. Let him go back where he was. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon.
Council members, congratulations, and congratulations, sir. I'm here today because I'm sorry, Denise Branch, 110 on 3rd Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. I'm here today to ask if anybody other than myself and Marina and Larry, who take a look at what I was going to say, and realize what's happening with our city. We have a man walking around this city every day who lives in Pelham, who is, because an underworld character, because I Googled it, okay? And he is, as they said, the mayor, and Richard is the secretary. Now, this man is calling all the shots here, which we knew was going to happen. We stated that so many times, but it is happening now. Talking about threats, Raymond Jones, I know he's telling the truth. I got them, because I'm so vocal on Facebook. He, Spezio, got in on my Facebook page to threaten me. Okay? So, now, we don't forget what President Thomas does. He had me hanging by a tree. They've infiltrated my phone. I have been to the police department. I was told by T-Mobile to go to the FBI. I went to the FBI, they said they can't do anything. Go to your Attorney General, not Attorney General, the District Attorney in your city. I went to him, he said, we can't do anything until you go and make a complaint at the police department. I went there maybe 2 months ago because my life was being threatened. What I got from that was a little torn piece of paper, which I keep in my wallet, with a telephone number that they tore off. You can see the police thing. And it said, what did it say? It was a phone number, just a phone number, a little piece of paper. And he said to me, if they come near you, you call this number. We'll be there right away. They were supposed to come and investigate my computer. I haven't seen anybody. They were supposed to investigate my phone, which is hacked by some app that it takes them 2 seconds to put in, and it's an $8 app. Okay? So I'm concerned about what's going on. We have now a very disgraceful display with what happened at our fire department. People, the gentleman said that I have a computer. I'm not reading it because I'm trying to be quick. The gentleman that said people are moving in here, people are not going to want to come here. What kind of people want to move here? Where firemen are selling drugs and guns in the firehouse, and said, admitted the unsealed records say that he's been selling it from 2010 to 2015. Okay? Out of our firehouse. Now, who wants to come here and live? I want to get the hell out of here. I said, my life's been threatened. The fire department selling drugs and guns in the firehouse. What the devil kind of city are we running? What are we running? That we put a man that anybody can see if they go online is an underworld character. And then we have Roberta going around. Who is she? Did they give her a title? Not me. Is she a commissioner?
Mrs. Branch, if you could.
Okay. I'll be back to finish this at the next meeting. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Council President and members of the council. First, I'd like to wish all of you a happy and healthy new year. And I'd like to congratulate you, Andre and Lisa, on your winning the election. Number one, this may be a little passé, but I tried to get here a few weeks ago when there was a public hearing and I just couldn't have myself heard. Even tonight, I wish the council, number one, would go back to the way they used to list the speakers and what they were speaking about, so you can see where you are on the list. Because sometimes you may have an appointment later and you can't wait. So I think they should go back to that. I don't know why they cut that out. But anyway, I'd like to speak first about Horton, the fellow that has the contract with the LED lights in Mount Vernon. I don't know if it's a done deal or not, but I have to give my opinions on this. Excuse me? Oh, my name, I'm sorry. Dorothy Pirello, Willoughby Avenue. Okay, anyway, getting back to Horton, for the LED lights. Number one, that was a real fiasco how he got that contract. But to begin with, he's a general contractor, and he had to hire an electrical contractor. Why didn't they just hire an electrical contractor in the first place and eliminate him? Why did they do that? That's extra money. Also, why did they deal with an American company instead of a Korean company? We're in the United States and we should deal with the USA, with the companies in the United States. I don't know if that's a real done deal or not, but I'd like some information on that, even though it's a little late in the game. Also, I would like to discuss this lady, I think her name, I may not have the correct pronunciation, Sharon something or other, Morris. It seems as though she was working as a mail coordinator in Mount Vernon for $45,000 a year. All of a sudden, she got promoted to chief of staff, for $75,000. Where does a male coordinator get $30,000 more? I don't understand that. That's all taxpayer money. Now, number one, it seems as though there was a big issue about her overtime. It seems as though she claimed, I don't know how many hours of overtime, but this was not documented. No one can document that. So how can someone put in overtime when it's not documented? Just on someone's say-so? That's another issue with this, and I'd like this all explained to me because I'm a taxpayer in Mount Vernon. Also, I understand if she was making $75,000 a year, how come she couldn't pay her taxes? She was back, I don't know how many years on her taxes, and from what I understand, unless I have the wrong information, because I met Marcus the other night, and he told me, don't believe everything you read in the papers. Well, if I can't go by that, I spoke to the reporter that made this statement, that did the story, and he backs up the story, so I have to go by what I read in the papers. But the thing is, it seems as though, from what I understand, the city bought her house because she was back on her taxes. They bought her house, and I think she's living there, and I'd like to know, like, who is paying for this, and how come the taxes can go so far without being paid? And I would like that someone can explain all this to me. And then I understand that the controller's office did not give her this money for the for her overtime and the money that she was due. I understand that they settled it with the insurance company for the city. So if they settled it with the insurance company, I'd like to know how much overtime was put in there and how much it was, and I'm entitled to know that. I think that's about it, but I really feel that someone should explain these things to me as a taxpayer. Thank you very much.
DeSalis. We immigrated to this wonderful town in 1961 from Sparta, Greece, and chasing the American dream. I organically started a business. It actually found me. I am a mechanic. I do this because I like doing it, and I've been trying to make a good living at it. It's getting hard. We have two colleagues that we had spoke before me.
Give us your name for the record, please.
Peter DeSalis, Mount Vernon, New York. And I was told for the city at one time, I gathered two gentlemen and said, newcomers come into town, they get treated like royalty. They have the doors open, they get everything they want, and then some, you know? And I'm still trying to get back into the business over an incident that happened in 1992. I was supposedly arrested. That's how deep we can go when we try to restrict the business. And I would like to have some kind of investigation where I've been there a few times before. I'd like to have the council people, police department, any other entities involved, sit down and maybe work this out, rather than implicate all the people that are involved in this little corrupt scandal that's going on. And a couple other issues, but I'll say there's enough time. And that's pretty much what I came here for. Corporate business in Mount Vernon should be respectful people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
To City Council members, in all case that municipal law here in the state of New York requires that any additions to the officers of the city that are not specified in the charter do require legislative approval. And so I think it would be very helpful going forward if the council would issue a definitive statement with respect to this question. In addition to that, I also have to say to the council and to the residents of the city of Mount Vernon that because ours is a multiracial city, it is very important as we go forward that everyone feels that they have a genuine representation on the highest decision-making boards or bodies within the city. I have some questions as to whether or not the mayor's advisory boards are in fact legal precisely because of the issues that I raised. But more importantly, in a city which is comprised of a supermajority of minorities, it is deeply troubling that the brain trust of the city would have more than 50% whites. While I am myself in support of an equitable power sharing arrangement between the various racial and ethnic groups here in the city of Mount Vernon, I do not think that the powers that be will be able to win the support of the city if they do not feel these bodies are representative. Finally, I have to specifically speak about concerns with the appointment of Robert Kelly as the Commissioner of Public Safety. There are two concerns that I have. Number one, Mr. Kelly's service with the Westchester Intelligence Board does trouble me from the perspective of civil liberties. My own research has indicated that civil liberties advocates here within Lower Westchester County have specifically filed motions, legal motions against the center because of its use of the automatic license plate reader. At a time when many citizens are concerned about the overuse of police authority as part of the war on terror, I think that this is an issue that the council needs to address directly. Moreover, and this is what is deeply troubling me, Robert Kelly is widely reputed throughout the streets of Mount Vernon to have been a member of the so-called Law Squad, a street fighting unit.
Dr. Baskerville?
Yes, just one more, a street fighting unit that is known to, or alleged to have used harsh, illegal, unconstitutional tactics in its efforts to fight crime. We can have no peace between the police department and the mostly black residents of the city of Mount Vernon if we do not have clarity on this matter. Thank you very much.
I will do my best. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
First, let me thank you all for coming. I know it's, once you get to this point, that means that you've been frustrated somewhere along the way. So I appreciate you taking the time to come out in the evening to speak with us. Over the last couple of weeks, today's the 13th, I think I have over 1,000 pages of information on Memorial Field. So, Mr. Johnson, I did receive this last night, your questions, and we will be getting back to Mr. Harris and all of you who spoke about Memorial Field. We're not going to have all the answers tonight. There's a lot of stuff that we have to go through to make sure that the city is responsive to the residents in the area and in our entire city. In terms of the recreation department, Ms. Reed, thank you so much for coming and being specific. We want to apologize for your frustration and the difficulties that you had. Moving forward, we're going to work, I'm going to work, and my coach here is going to work with the recreation department to see that these kinds of things don't happen again, but to the best of our ability, that our children get the services through the recreation department that we need. It's critical, as you all have said. The children, you know, the youth, they see us. They see what's happening, and we have to respond to that. We have to be responsive. I also, even though this is not my committee, there will be a lot more information in the coming days in terms of Memorial Field and where we're going forward with that. We won't have the answers tonight, but I do appreciate you coming. And also in terms of the tow truck situation, I've been speaking to the clerk. I know it's not my committee, but as a former clerk, I understand your frustrations, and we're moving forward to make sure that the residents get what they deserve and don't get mistreated here in our city. So,
You just heard from Lisa Copeland, Councilwoman Lisa Copeland, who chairs the Human Resources Department Committee. Departments that fall underneath that are Health and Human Welfare, Human Resources, Senior Citizens Affairs, Recreation, Veterans Affairs, Youth Bureau, Civil Service, Memorial Field, and Human Resources. We also have, and who you will hear from next, J. Donna Edwards, who is chair of the Public Safety and Codes Committee. Under that committee is the Police Department, the Fire Department, Civil Defense, Building and Code Enforcement, Consumer Affairs, Zoning, Parking and Authority, and Pet Control. So with that, at this time, I'm going to ask...
One more thing, Mr. Monroe, I do support CC Community Plan Review Board. I can't answer that.
Thank you. So at this time, I'm going to ask for Councilman Edwards to go over and to respond to issues that have to do with mainly police fire and enforcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Firstly, I'd like to address Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, you know, we received this, and I received a letter from you, and I passed it to my colleagues just last night. It was stamped on the 17th of December, and I apologize for not getting back to you sooner, but I did pass it to him and said we had to answer this. And in discussing it with our legislative assistant, I wanted to be specific about the answers, and because it wasn't strictly under my committee, I wanted to pass it to my colleague, Lisa Copeland, who does cover that, and her and I, we co-chair Human Resources, so we want to confer and then answer all your questions, because you have a lot of questions, and like what was said tonight, there's a lot going on down there. Everyone needs to understand that there is a new administration, all right? And during that time, it was very, very, I don't even know the word to use. This whole year of 2015 was a tough year to go through. I'm glad it's over. We have a new leadership here, but we have to confer with that leadership to see where they want to go going forward for 2016 and on. So this, I did pass it on because you addressed it to me. I'm going to give you a call, you know, and tell you that I received it and what we were going to do tonight. So thank you for being here and bringing it to our attention to show the importance of this. Mr. Harris, because it's mentioned fires, and I am the chairperson of Public Safety and Codes, which the fire department does come under. I appreciate the tone tonight. That's all I was asking, that we don't have to bark at each other. We can speak to each other, and then we can get things done. I didn't mean to, you know, approach you or the way you felt about what I said. Again, the tone tonight was we're speaking to each other, just like I'm speaking to you. I know you, and I know how tough you can be, okay? But you also know how tough I can be. But all I want to do, as my colleagues would like, to be respected. That's all. It's not necessary for us to have a tone like we're not going to do our job, because we're going to do our job. We just need to watch us, and we'll do the best that we possibly can. Jeff Monroe, the previous administration and Commissioner Raynor, he was in favor of CCR video, okay? But we didn't get a chance to discuss it. And now that there's a change in administration and understanding how things work, new administrations have new ideas, okay? We can't go into the new leadership of that because there's some questions that we have to answer. And as was told to us by our legal department, that we can't discuss certain things at this particular time. But this is the first meeting of the year, so we have time to discuss it. There's Nora Gilmore. I just wanted to address that because I think Nora Gilmore spoke about, it's number 12. Okay, again, certain things that Ms. Gilmore we can't discuss at this particular time, but continue to come, or, you know, we won't just meet with the public on the day that we have to address the city of Mount Vernon. You can call us. I have a number, I'll give you my number, 667-8503. Okay, I'll be glad to meet with you on an off week, or anytime you call me. I will set up a meeting to meet with you personally. That's the public number that has been given to the citizens of Mount Vernon. Yes, everyone should be invited. Damian Jones said everyone should be invited. Republicans, independents, everyone should be invited. And because of your comments, I'm going to make sure it gets to the administration. Administration invites all people, as all people are invited to everything, because everything we go to is public. And because it's public, everybody's invited. So it's up to you to come out and be attentive to what's going on in the city. Future Society, I just have to mention that because Mr. Fair, I remember when he started working for the city of Mount Vernon, and I told Mr. Fair I appreciated what is Mr. Fair still here? Yeah, and he's been coming here with solutions, and he's the only one that came here tonight, really, with solutions that he's been working on for 8 years. And I respect that, because I started years ago, when we started the Mount Vernon Pop Warner football team the Razorbacks some 35 years ago, which I put into that. And so I am a part of the village that raised a lot of children that have come through the system, and I'm now fireman, and now the mayor of Mount Vernon, and so on and so on. So, Mr. Fair, thank you so much for what you do. But I know that the high school, I believe, is doing an experiment with raising fish at the high school. And they said they're going to put those fish in the lakes at Wilsonwood School. So you won't have to go as far, because the thing is, just learning how to fish, okay, is the primary thing that you would like to do. Teaching them how to fish, and then they can go to bigger and better things. But I think to start out and save you some money is to go down to Wilson Woods and show them, which they used to do years ago. But they're going to put those fish inside. They're growing them now. I guess when the weather gets good, they'll put those fish inside of Wilson Woods School. Donald Moore, we will check into that. Okay, we will check in. But it's not our responsibility to who we can check into it, because it's a legal matter. It has to be addressed by the administration. But we'll look into it the next time you come in, or feel free, we've never talked offline, feel free to give me exactly what the questions are that you've asked. I don't remember receiving anything over the last 9 months in writing that I would have to look at. It just has to be, just has to refresh my mind. We'll go into the archives, pull those out within the next week. You and I need to talk before the next meeting, so we can get something straight on. Because I understand if you're retired and you owe money, absolutely should be paid to you. I think that covers everything. Towing situation, again, new administration. I need to talk to the police department. We're not sure what the administration will look like in the police department, which towing comes under, along with our city clerk's office. Once it comes, I did receive a call saying that there was a problem last week at the food bazaar, all right? But I told the person that I could not address it at this time because I needed to talk to the administration to see who was covering that, to be able to discuss it fluently and to understand the situation so we can make some changes. Mr. President, I think that covers everything. Allow me, if something does come up that comes to mind, allow me to bring it up.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to allow to speak Councilman Andre Wallace, who is chair of the Legislation and Public Works Committee. Within that committee is the Office of the City Clerk, the Law Department, Management Services, the Mayor's Office, Charter Revision, Public Works, Railroads and Bridges, Water Department, Parks, and City Property. Councilman Wallace.
Council President. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It was only about a couple months I was sitting on that side sharing your frustrations. So I pretty much know a lot of the frustration that's out there already. And I think I've spoken to a lot of people about their issues already. And we can continue to talk about some of those other issues offline. But there are some things I do want to address. Charles Johnson for Memorial Field. I did worked on a report for Memorial Field. So actually you could take a look at the report. We get a lot of information from that report. Also I have asked my colleague Lisa Copeland to work with her on Memorial Field because she chairs Memorial Field. So I'm going to be working with her closely to try to get all of this stuff done, get everybody's questions answered. I think in the report you will find all the answers that you need. I don't think it's a big concern for all of the people outside, but you can take a look at it for yourself and see what you get out of it. Going down the list, that would also go for Glenn as well. That should answer your questions. And if you need a copy of the report, you can call me here, or I can see you after the session, and I can email it to you guys, or tell you where you can download it and get a copy. Going down the list, Damon Jones. I will answer to that for the simple fact, is he still here?
Yeah.
Okay. I will answer to that because I was sitting there when that whole thing transpired. So we are going to look into that and get to the bottom of what's going on with that particular incident and the behavior. So we will be looking at that. Donald Moore, I know your situation. I've been here with you for about a year. We share similar things. We've talked about a lot of different things. I will try to see what I can do, talk to the rest of the council, see how we can make sure we can talk to the proper people to get you some answers on your issue. But right now, we can't really go into depth with it because we don't know enough about it. So, but we will look into it and see what we can do about it. And make sure this time you get an answer back. All right. But regarding the towing, part of that falls under the clerk's office as well. And I will be speaking to Councilman Edwards about a lot of issues. We've been looking into it, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that towing myself. I've been looking at it for a little while, trying to figure out how the majority of contracts is going to one company. It doesn't look too right to me. So we're going to look into that. We're going to get back to everybody on that. We're definitely going to look in depth to see exactly what's going on with that. And Dorothy, regarding the LED contract, I know she stepped out. The LED contract is something that I will be pulling to take a look at it myself, find out exactly what is going on with it, where it's at, and then I will report back to everybody and let everybody know exactly where it is. And I'll speak to some of my colleagues to find out exactly what they know about it as well, and you know, take a very, very in-depth look at that contract and see what's going on with that, and see if it is the best thing for our city. So that is something I'll be looking at, and that covers everything. Thanks.
And I'm not sure if we have anything that falls under Finance and Planning Committee, which is chaired by Councilwoman Roberta Puzo, but to keep things consistent, under that committee is budget, taxes and assessment, planning, grants and funded programs, city-owned property that's under the jurisdiction of finance, the Dole Center, the library, which really is no longer under the city's review, and the Inspector General, which we do not have one of. So, Councilwoman Puzo, if you have any comments for anybody that you can, please.
Roberta Puzo. So, we're into almost 2 weeks of the new administration. And there have been an incredible amount of disappointments that we have already seen. This council is taking a very strong stand on what has happened with the appointment of the Commissioner of Public Safety. And we will be writing a strong letter, looking into a couple of things. We're going to be looking into charter revision. There is no, let's get this really straight, there is no deputy mayor. And what the gentleman pointed out, the last speaker, Mr. Baskerville, you are very correct, and we're going to take a strong, really strong look at it. Someone came up to me the other day and said, we have to build bridges. I'm here to build relationships and bridges. Well, I have never seen such London bridges falling down within the past 2 weeks. And for myself, and I think for our colleagues that are sitting here this evening, we're looking into this very, very carefully. And we're not going to just let it go by easily. There were several things that happened this week that were unfathomable. Do we call it someone being overwhelmed, ill-advised, not caring? But let's look at this really, really careful. Some people got what they deserved. And this is what happens. So moving forward, we're going to move forward and we're going to look into this once again. And I can only say that this has been an extremely disturbing week. Listening, I don't go on Facebook. I don't have the time to do that. I'm not inclined to spend my day reading a lot because it takes away from the focus of what it is that we have to do as community people. And so much of it is like such junk. And then 2 days later, it's all forgotten. But what happened this week is not to be forgotten and not to be taken lightly. This is very, very serious business, and we are going to get to the bottom of it. Larry, you're a gem in this city. We thank you for your mentorship and all that you do for the youth. That completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I just wanted to go back. I think everybody did a great job of reaching out to everybody that came and commented tonight. I did not hear a response to Christopher Gaines. Mr. Gaines, are you still here? Thank you, sir, for coming out. One thing that I do want to point out to you is we do have a parking issue in Mount Vernon. There's no doubt about it. There was a day when people got on the train and people didn't have as many cars. Now everybody has a car. And in some of our communities, no parking was allocated for many of the apartment buildings that we have in Mount Vernon. So now that everybody has a car, we have a parking problem. And I happen to agree with you. This council there was a recommendation in previous years to raise the ultimate side of street parking fines. And this council would not have it. We do want to raise some fines so that we create more income for the city. That's always something that we need to do to balance our budget. But this council did not feel comfortable with people being fined if they forget to move their car one morning, or maybe somebody is sick and they don't get to work, and their car simply hasn't been moved from one side of the street to the other, and then they get a $120 fine. It's just too much for our community. So we do have the discretion to allow some things to go up and other things not to go up. And we felt that if you are parked on the street in the morning, most likely you're a resident of Mount Vernon. So if you're at a meter, there's a good chance that you could be coming in from outside of Mount Vernon, shopping in our stores. You need to put money in the meter. But those people with the alternate side street parking are probably people that live here. And we felt we were taxing our own people for a morning mistake. And we didn't increase those fines. These are things that people don't know that the council does or has the ability to do. We review these things before they go through, and that was one thing that we did not allow to go through. And I think your point is very valid about the street cleaning and how the street cleaning times are 4 hours. We can get to a point where we can perfect the times that the street machines clean the streets, and they're not out for 4 hours, maybe 2 hours. Because you're right, some people need to move their car and there's no place to park, and the spots are there, you know the streets are cleaned, and it would be great if you could just put your car back because the task has been done, and we just don't have that. So, and if you happen to put your car back there, you get a ticket, and so I completely understand. So I just want to thank you for coming out and pointing that out to us. We need people in the community bringing things to our attention. So I just want to thank you for that, and I think nobody responded to your direct concern.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. As we go down the list, I think we went over the towing. Mrs. Branch, thank you. Mrs. Fiorello, thank you. Mrs. Reed, thank you again. Please don't forget to hand in your documents. We often are frustrated with people not getting the information in the city. There's one thing that I don't think we'll ever be able to control 100%, and that's communication with our residents. We try our best to get the information out. There's never one great way to get the information out. I know some people say Facebook is the answer, but then the seniors don't get that information. Some people don't have computers in our city. So we try to do a mix of handing out flyers and spreading the word. You do relay things to churches, but it's never enough. There will always be somebody that comes, no responses, sir. There will always be somebody that says, I didn't know anything about it, as much as we try to relay the information. But I do appreciate your concerns That's something that we would like to take care of because our children are really the ones that we need to protect in the city. A lot of people question the council, and when people come up to the podium and ask, do you live in Mount Vernon? Absolutely, we live in Mount Vernon. This council has been here for years, and I would like to say this, we have a strong council this year around. I'm very proud of this council. Last night we had a very hefty meeting. We spoke for a very long time. We spoke candidly. There's nothing more that we want to do on this council to make this city better. We're looking for things that we can actually do to make this city better. We want you guys to see the problem, recognize the problem, and know that this council was able to achieve something. So we, new administration, new people running the city, new people walking around, there's nothing more that we want to improve our city. And it's unfortunate because we're not as pleased as we could be. We knew that there was going to be growing pains, but we're not pleased. And we have to take some action. Our role as a council is to protect the city. End of story. So we don't care who's running around in the city. When it comes to the time where we feel that somebody is hurting the residents of Mount Vernon, even if it's the mayor or any of the commissioners, it's the council's responsibility to step in and make it right. And we may have to do that in certain instances. And we're not making anything up. We're not trying to do it. We have to protect the residents of Mount Vernon legally. When you look at the city charter, it doesn't start with the controller or the mayor. It starts with the people of Mount Vernon, and the people of Mount Vernon created a council. You guys put us here to help run the city. But the people said that the council should not work in City Hall. So we shouldn't be here getting coerced by anybody in City Hall. Our job is to come in every 2 weeks and to review what the people in City Hall decided to do. And with clear minds, we're supposed to be able to say, is this right for the residents of Mount Vernon? And if it's not, we send it back. If it's good, we allow it to go forward. But first, everybody in the city has to come before the council to present what they want to do. And that's including the mayor. So this council said, way back when, we want a mayor to work in City Hall full-time and do nothing else but to run the city. And when he decides on anything, even if he was to spend $1, he has to get approval from the council. If somebody wants to donate $1 or a car or a building or anything, you have to get approval from the council. Whatever the mayor wants to change, he or she has to get approval from the council. So you can't just make stuff up as you go along. You can't just want to do, even if it sounds great. It could be a perfect solution, but you still gotta get approval from the council. So we can't create these deputy mayors. It just doesn't exist. It's totally illegal. The council knows that, and we're just waiting for somebody to realize that they made a mistake. We don't know what they're trying to do, but there's no such thing as a deputy mayor in Mount Vernon. My line is you can't get a Big Mac at Burger King. Try to go to McDonald's. So we're not in Yonkers, we're not in New York City, this is Mount Vernon. I implore you to read just the charter. Go online and just read the charter. See how this city was formed. It's not a secret, we're not hiding it. It's the law of our town. This is how the city is run. Read the charter from the top down, and you'll see it starts with the council. And all the approvals go from there. We created the mayor, we created the controller. And you'll see in every one of their roles, it always reverts back to the council. And that's why you guys voted us into this office. So we're doing what we need to do. Our first work session was last night. We had a great meeting. We were here till almost midnight, talking about stuff that you guys want us to talk about. So we listened to gossip, we did everything, and then we broke it down to, okay, that's gossip, that's not real good. This is serious. What are we gonna do here? And this is stuff that we're not making up, we're backed by the legal document that we have, which is the charter of the city of Mount Vernon. You can't just make it up, folks. It's in a book. It's written, it's law. That's what we follow. So you're gonna see some stuff from the council. We're not trying to hurt anybody, we're trying to defend the city of Mount Vernon, whether it be Memorial Field or appointments or salaries or whatever it may be. We're here to protect you. That's guaranteed. So if you guys have any concerns, you can call each and one of us individually, because our phone numbers are public. You can send us an email. You can call the clerk's office to get in touch with any one of us. We will respond. We will respond to you. We take our role seriously. We have a great council. Our skill sets are strong. So we're going to be looking to one another to do what we need to do. And we're going to do what's right. Gotcha. Corporation Council letting us know what to do. If there's, anything that folks we think is illegal, we're going to investigate it. And we have different ways of investigating things too. We're not going to tell you what we're doing. We're not going to tell you every stage of the investigation. It doesn't work like investigations aren't supposed to be public. We're supposed to be investigating. So trust that we're looking into things, we take advice, we listen to people, as they call it. We're investigating. And just know that at some point we're going to get it right. If there's nothing there, you may not hear of anything. But if there's something here, you may hear about that as well. So we thank you all for coming out. We're going to take what I say to be a 5-minute break. It usually extends to 15 minutes. This is the time that you can talk to our council people individually. Don't go yet, folks. And right after that, for the new folks that haven't been here before, we go right into our legislative session. That is where we pass the laws of the city. You're more than welcome to stay for that as well. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Mount Vernon. 5-minute break.
Ms. Reed, this is Reed's time.